Close the door. No need to worry.
1977 was a special year. The music was different then. It came from a real place, from real life. R&B wasn't just playing on the radio. It was living in people's homes, in their cars, in their hearts. But here's what most people don't know. Some of the biggest songs from that year almost never got made at all. Label problems, personal pain, battles behind closed doors that nobody talked about. And yet the music still came out, and it changed everything. 10 songs, 10 true stories. One year that shaped R&B forever. This is 1977, and the countdown starts now. Number 10, Teddy Pendergrass. The whole town's laughing at me.
Had your love right here in the palm of...
Close your eyes for a second. You're sitting in a dimly lit room, maybe late at night, the kind of quiet that makes you think too much. And this voice comes on low, heavy, full of something that feels like shame mixed with heartbreak. That's what this song does to you, every single time.
My hand, and I lost it.
This track was lifted from Teddy's self-titled debut solo album, released in 1975 on Philadelphia International Records, the legendary Philly soul label founded by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff.
And I lost it.
It was produced by the great Kenny Gamble himself, recorded in the warm, lush Philadelphia sound that was absolutely dominating black radio at the time.
The love so real, when a man could truly...
The song is about a man whose personal life has fallen apart so publicly that he feels the whole world is watching him fail at love. The embarrassment of it, the private pain becoming very public.
feel, and I lost it.
It hit the R&B charts and found a serious audience among people who understood exactly what that kind of exposed heartbreak feels like.
Said I lost it. Maybe if I had...
Here is something a lot of people don't know. Teddy had just stepped out from behind Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, one of the most celebrated vocal groups in soul history, and this debut album was his way of telling the world he was more than a group member.
I'd spend just a little more time with you.
He was a solo artist. He was a man with something to say. And this song, quiet and painful as it is, was one of the first true statements of that identity.
Maybe then you'll still be mine.
Why does it get overlooked today? Honestly, because Teddy became so enormous so quickly that his first wave of solo material gets swallowed by the bigger hits that followed.
And only if I had been just...
People skip straight to the anthems and miss the vulnerability of where he started. That's a shame, because this song shows you the real man underneath the legend.
Just a little more kind to you. There'd be no need.
The most powerful voices sometimes start by whispering the truth. Stay with me, because number 9 is one that changed how an entire generation understood the word devotion. Number 9, Smokey Robinson, Vitamin U.
Tried vitamin A when you went away.
Now this one right here. I need you to really sit with this one because it doesn't always get mentioned in the same breath as Smokey's most celebrated work, and that is a genuine oversight, because this song is something else entirely. It feels like a slow Sunday morning, warm light coming through the curtains, that feeling of being completely at peace with someone. Not excited, not dramatic, just content. The kind of love that has settled in and made itself at home. This song sounds like exactly that. Vitamin U appeared on Smokey's Big Time album, released in 1977 on Tamla Records, the iconic Motown imprint. The production has that smooth, unhurried Motown sophistication that Smokey had practically invented over the previous decade.
got all, now I see.
The concept behind the song is one of the most beautiful in all of soul music. The idea that someone can be as essential to your health as a vitamin. That you don't just want this person, you need them. The way your body needs something it can't make on its own.
The only one that's gonna work for me is vitamin.
That metaphor, simple as it sounds, lands differently when Smokey sings it with that voice of his. Here's your fun fact. By 1977, Smokey Robinson was already a living legend. He had been writing, producing, and performing since the early Motown era, helping to build that label from the ground up. And yet here he was, still reaching for new ways to describe love, still finding angles that nobody had found before. Vitamin U wasn't a comeback. It was a quiet reminder that the master never actually left.
I could find another lover.
Why does it get forgotten in the 1977 conversation? Because Smokey's catalog is so deep and so wide that individual songs get lost inside it.
With some tender care, baby,
When your legacy is that enormous, the smaller gems stop catching light. People play the hits and never go looking for what's underneath. This song deserves more than it gets. Some people are so good at love songs that even their quiet ones deserve to be studied.
If this song just hits you in that quiet place, don't let this moment be a one-time thing. Subscribe to Demo. We're building a home for real R&B and soul. The kind that heals, the kind that tells the truth. Hit subscribe and come back whenever you need a song that understands you.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history, and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. Number 8, Al Green, Livin' For You. Okay, I have to be honest with you about something. When I was putting this list together, I went back and forth on this entry more than almost any other. Not because it doesn't deserve to be here. It absolutely does, but because choosing one Al Green song from this era felt almost impossible. The man was everywhere in the 1970s. But this one kept pulling me back. And once I tell you why, I think you'll understand.
But I keep on living for you, babe.
The feeling of living for you is hard to put into simple words. It's joyful, but it has depth underneath the joy. Like a man who has been through enough hard things that happiness feels like something he chose deliberately, consciously, rather than something that just happened to him.
There's nothing else to do, baby.
There's wisdom in the groove of this song. You can feel it. This track comes from the album of the same name, Livin' For You. Released in 1973, but living powerfully in the cultural conversation through the mid to late 70s, as Al Green remained one of the defining voices of the era.
Spend my life holding.
It was recorded at Royal Studios in Memphis, Tennessee, the legendary High Record studio, and produced by the incomparable Willie Mitchell. Willie Mitchell and Al Green together made some of the most perfect soul recordings in history. Mellow brass, warm drums, that unmistakable Memphis sound that nobody else could replicate. The lyrics are a pure expression of devotion, a man saying simply that everything he does, every day, is shaped by this love, by this person. Here is your fun fact. Willie Mitchell was known for working slowly and patiently in the studio building takes brick by brick until everything felt exactly right. He once said he never rushed Al Green because Al's voice needed room to breathe. That philosophy, giving greatness room to breathe, produced some of the most enduring recordings in soul history.
Think of a reason
Why does this particular track get overlooked? Because even within Al Green's own catalog, it competes against giants.
And you shouldn't make me cry. Don't make me cry.
When you have songs as towering as some of his other work from this period, everything around them casts in shadow. But Livin' For You is the kind of song that gets inside you quietly and stays there.
Baby, walk out and say goodbye.
The kind of song you suddenly find yourself humming 3 days later and you don't even know why. Some love songs don't announce themselves. They just move in. Number 7. Marvin Gaye, Got to Give It Up. Now, here's one that you know. You've heard this song, but do you know the story that was happening around it when it was born? Because the story is as interesting as the music. And the music is extraordinary. Picture a party. Not a manufactured, perfectly lit social media moment. A real party, the kind where people are actually moving, where the room is warm with bodies and laughter and that specific electricity you only feel when everyone in the building is feeling the same thing at the same time. That's what this song sounds like. It sounds like a room where everyone decided to be free. Got to Give It Up was released in 1977 on Tamla Records Motown and was produced by Marvin Gaye himself. It came out as a double A-side single and went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of Marvin's biggest commercial hits of the decade. The song was reportedly born out of Marvin's own discomfort. He was famously shy and anxious in social situations, not what you'd expect from one of the most magnetic performers in music history. The song is essentially about overcoming that shyness, about deciding to let yourself go, to stop watching from the corner and get on the floor. Here is something that makes this even more interesting. The recording itself captures that looseness. You can hear people talking in the background, laughter. The whole track has the texture of something that was happening rather than something that was constructed. That wasn't accidental. Marvin wanted it to feel like a live party, so he created one in the studio. Why does it sometimes get undervalued in the serious ballad conversation? Because it's so joyful that people file it under dance track and don't sit with the emotional journey inside it. But the liberation in this song, the act of giving yourself permission to feel, that is as emotional as anything else on this list. Freedom is its own kind of love song. If you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who love real music history. Now let's keep going because we're just getting to the serious ones. Number 6, Diana Ross, Getting Ready for Love. Person Can Do. Number 5, Phyllis Hyman, Loving You, Losing You.
I guess you wonder where I've been.
Now, I told you earlier, right at the start of this video, that we were going to get into something real, something that goes past the music and into the human story behind it. This is that moment.
I hope to find the love.
Because Phyllis Hyman is one of the most important voices in the entire history of R&B. And for reasons that are complicated and painful and worth understanding, she never got the full recognition she deserved while she was alive.
Within. I came back to love.
First, the song, Loving You, Losing You, is from Phyllis's debut album, simply titled Phyllis Hyman, released in 1977 on Buddha Records.
Oh yeah, got a thing for you.
It was produced by Barry Eastmond and was one of the first recordings to truly showcase what that voice could do in a fully realized studio setting.
And I can't let it go.
The song is about the cruelest kind of love, the kind where you can feel someone pulling away and there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. You're still fully in it while they're already leaving. Phyllis sings that specific pain with a precision that is almost uncomfortable to hear, because it is that honest.
My friends wonder what is wrong with me.
Now the controversy. And I want to be careful here, because I want to be fair to everyone involved and to the truth. Phyllis Hyman signed to Buddha Records with enormous expectations. She had the voice, she had the presence, she had everything.
And I'm in the days from your love, you see.
But in interviews over the years and in accounts from people close to her, there have been consistent descriptions of frustration with how the label handled her career in those early years. Some people say the marketing wasn't right. Some say the promotion fell short.
I came back to let you know.
There are different versions of the story, but what most accounts agree on is this. The commercial infrastructure around Phyllis never matched the extraordinary quality of what she was recording.
Oh yeah, got a thing for you, and I can't.
There's also the broader industry context. 1977 was a complicated moment for Black female artists in the music business. The industry was changing fast. Disco was starting to pull resources and attention. Labels that might have nurtured a slower developing artist, one who needed time and investment to find her audience, were increasingly chasing the quick return.
Around the world for love, yet they may never.
In interviews, it's been said that Phyllis felt the pressure of commercial expectation clashing with her artistic instincts almost from the very beginning of her solo career.
Find what they dream of. What you want.
That tension between the purity of her gift and the mechanics of the industry around her followed Phyllis throughout her entire career. It contributed to her frustration, her sense of being undervalued, and ultimately to a personal pain that the music sometimes reflected in ways that were almost prophetic. What it did to this song specifically, it meant that Loving You, Losing You never got the radio push it deserved. It found its audience through word of mouth, through people who had actually heard it, passing it to someone else. It became a discovery record rather than a hit record.
I've tried everything, but you won't give up.
And for decades, that's how Phyllis Hyman lived in the culture as a secret that the people who knew her work kept close, because they understood they were holding something rare.
In my world, only you.
Today, a whole new generation is finding her voice, and every single person who discovers Phyllis Hyman for the first time goes through the same thing, this combination of wonder and grief. Wonder at the voice. Grief that the world didn't love her loud enough while she was here. That's why this song isn't just music. It is history. It is a reminder of what happens when greatness doesn't get what it needs. And it is an invitation right now, today, to correct that. To give Phyllis Hyman the listen she always deserved. Number 4. Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. The Closer I Get to You. I want to say something before we go into this one. There are certain musical partnerships in R&B history that feel like they were meant to exist, like the universe arranged them specifically. Like without these two people finding each other, something important would be permanently missing from the world. That's what Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway were. And this song is the proof.
Your love has captured me.
The feeling of the closer I get to you is intimacy, real intimacy. Not the performance of it, the actual thing. Two voices that trust each other so completely that they're not trying to impress. They're just being together, in the same room, breathing the same air. When you hear how their voices move around each other, how they leave space for each other, how they respond to each other in real time, it's impossible not to feel moved.
And over again, I try to tell myself.
The song was released in 1978 as a single from the Blue Lights in the Basement album, though the creative partnership and recording that produced it was deeply embedded in the 1977 period.
We could never be more than friends.
It was produced by the duo themselves and released on Atlantic Records. It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. The song is about exactly what the title says, the feeling of emotional closeness, deepening, becoming more real.
And all the while inside I knew it was real.
The discovery that love isn't just something you declare, it's something that grows the more you let it. Here is your fun fact. Roberta and Donny first recorded together at Howard University before either of them was famous, before record deals and chart positions and any of it.
The way you make me feel.
Their musical connection predated the industry entirely, which means what you hear in this song, that naturalness, that ease, was not constructed. It was real. It was years of genuine musical friendship made audible. Why does this song sometimes get undersold? Because people know Roberta Flack most powerfully through other recordings, and Donny Hathaway's solo catalog carries such profound emotional weight that their collaborations sometimes get treated as a footnote rather than a centerpiece. They should be treated as one of the greatest vocal partnerships in the history of the genre. There are some voices that were always meant to sing together. This was 2 of them. Number 3, Stevie Wonder, A.S.
As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving.
All right, I need to be very deliberate about how I introduce this one, because As is not a song that you can just describe quickly and move on from. It's a song that demands something from you.
And the rosebuds know to bloom in early May.
It asks you to feel it fully. And if you give it that, if you sit with it the way it deserves, it will give you something back that very few pieces of music can.
As hate knows love's a cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll...
The feeling of this song is almost religious. Not in a sectarian way, but in that deep, wordless way that great music sometimes touches. The feeling of being completely certain about something. Completely, unconditionally committed.
I'll be loving you always.
The musical arrangement builds and builds strings, keyboards, that incredible rhythm, until by the time the song reaches its final minutes, you feel genuinely overwhelmed. Not in a sad way, in a full way, like your chest is almost too small to hold everything the music is putting inside it.
And reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing will...
As appeared on Stevie Wonder's masterpiece double album Songs in the Key of Life, released in 1976 on Tamla Records, and the song's cultural presence was enormous through all of 1977 as the album continued its historic run.
Grow older every day, just as all that's born is new.
Produced entirely by Stevie Wonder himself, this album is widely regarded as one of the greatest achievements in the history of recorded music, not just R&B, not just soul, all of it, as sits at the emotional center of that achievement.
You know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you.
The lyrics are a declaration of eternal, unconditional love, love that will last as long as certain impossible things remain true. It's a way of saying forever without using the word, and it's more powerful for that choice. Here is your fun fact. Songs in the Key of Life was so ambitious and took so long to complete that Motown actually distributed buttons at the label saying, "We're almost ready," a public acknowledgement to fans and the industry that Stevie was still working and the album was coming.
Always.
The wait was 2 years past the original expected release date, and when it finally arrived, it silenced every doubt. You cannot rush something like this. Why does As specifically get overlooked? Because it shares an album with so many other extraordinary songs that even within songs in the key of life, it doesn't always get the spotlight. But ask any serious musician, ask any producer, any vocalist, anyone who works inside music at a high level, and As will come up. It always comes up. Because people who understand music understand what this song is. This is what love looks like when it has no conditions, no expiration date, no fine print. Number 2, Teddy Pendergrass, Close the Door.
Close the door. Let me give you a...
Now, we've already heard Teddy's name once on this countdown, and there's a reason his name comes up twice.
You've been waiting for. Baby, I got...
Because 1977 was the year that Teddy Pendergrass became something rare in music, a voice so powerful, so specifically itself, that it changed the emotional temperature of any room it entered. And Close the Door is the moment that proved it.
So much love to give, and I want to give it.
This song feels like a private world, like everything outside doesn't exist anymore. The lights are low, the music is slow. And this voice that seems to come from somewhere deep in the earth, is speaking directly to you, not to an audience, not to the radio, to you.
It all to you.
That intimacy, that specific personal directness is what made Teddy Pendergrass unlike anyone else in R&B at that moment.
Close the door.
Close the Door was produced by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff and released on Philadelphia International Records in 1978, born directly from the creative period that defined 1977 Philly. Soul.
No need to worry no more.
It reached #1 on the R&B chart and became one of the defining recordings of the entire decade. The lyrics are an invitation, pure and simple. Come in, be here, let the world wait.
Let's bring this day to a pleasant end.
The extraordinary thing is how that simple idea, just be with me, becomes in Teddy's hands something that sounds like the most important request ever made.
Girl, it's me and you now.
Here is your fun fact. Teddy's live shows during this period became genuinely legendary and also genuinely controversial in the most wonderful way.
I've waited all day long.
His concerts were known as events specifically for women. He created an atmosphere of unapologetic, mature romance that had never really existed in live music at that level before.
Just to hold you in my arms.
He understood that his audience deserved to be spoken to directly, as adults, about adult feelings. And they responded with a loyalty and passion that the music industry had rarely seen.
And just exactly like I thought it.
Why does this song sometimes get categorized away? Because it became so associated with a particular mood that people treat it as a setting rather than a song.
Would be me loving you and you love.
You know, put on some Teddy Pendergrass as if the music is furniture rather than an experience. But Close the Door is not background music. It is a fully realized emotional statement from one of the most gifted vocalists who ever lived. When a voice this honest asks you to stay, you stay.
If this song just hits you in that quiet place, don't let this moment be a one-time thing. Subscribe to Demo. We're building a home for real R&B and soul. The kind that heals, the kind that tells the truth. Hit subscribe and come back whenever you need a song that understands you.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. Number 1. Stevie Wonder, Ordinary Pain. I'll be honest with you, this might be the most unexpected number 1 on this entire list. I know that. Some of you expected something else here, something more familiar, something that gets more radio play. And I understand that. But I made a promise at the start of this video, this countdown was going to be about the real stories. The true moments. The songs that captured 1977's soul most honestly. And this song does that more completely than anything else I could have put here. Ordinary Pain is a song in 2 parts, 2 completely different emotional perspectives, back to back, on the same piece of music. The first half is Stevie singing from the perspective of a man in emotional agony, restless, unable to sleep, drowning in the aftermath of a broken relationship. The second half shifts, and a woman named Shirley Brewer takes over, singing the other side of the same story. Suddenly, the person who seemed like the victim in the first half is revealed to be something more complicated. And the whole song becomes a conversation about how pain is never just one person's version of events. That structural idea, 2 voices, 2 truths. One song was genuinely radical for 1977. It wasn't just a musical choice, it was a philosophical one. It said, "Love doesn't break in one direction. Everyone carries their own version of what happened." Walking away, you're convinced that it was more just... Ordinary Pain appeared on Songs in the Key of Life, produced by Stevie Wonder himself on Tamla Records. And while the album as a whole received universal acclaim and commercial success, this specific track, buried deep in the double album, became one of those songs that dedicated listeners found and held on to as if it were a personal secret. Here is your fun fact. Shirley Brewer, who delivers the second half of the song with absolute conviction, was not a widely known name at the time. She was a background vocalist and session singer. And yet her contribution to this song is as powerful as anything recorded by a headline artist in that era. Her half of the song is raw, proud, and completely unapologetic. She doesn't explain herself. She doesn't ask for sympathy. She simply speaks. And it is one of the great vocal performances in soul music history. Why does this song get overlooked even by Stevie Wonder fans? Because Songs in the Key of Life is so overwhelmingly full that most listeners never make it this deep into the record. It's human nature. You hear the giants first, the songs that radio taught you, and you stop there. But the people who dig down to Ordinary Pain tend to never fully recover from it. It rearranges something. It makes you see the whole story instead of just your own side of it. In 1977, Stevie Wonder made a 2-part song about the most common human experience. There is the end of love, and somehow made it feel like a revelation. Like something you had never properly understood before, he gave the pain a voice. Not one voice, 2, because that's how real pain actually works. That is why this song is number 1. That is why 1977 was extraordinary. And that is why R&B, real R&B, the kind that lives in this countdown, will never be just music. It is the sound of people telling the truth.